Hi, I'm Rory Green of XR Today, reporting from Immerse Global Summit 2023 in Orlando, Florida. Joining me today is Caleb Trees, Director of Operations at Immersed. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm really interested to learn more about the Visor headset you've got coming out, and how is that a competitor to the bigger devices that are already on the market, and perhaps some that are coming out soon.
Sure, yeah. So just for quick context, Immerse has been around for about 7 years, and so we have roughly 7 years of user data of kind of what works, what doesn't work from a work productivity standpoint in AR, VR. And it's probably to no surprise we've learned that for users to wear the headset for long periods of time, it's just a deal breaker for many, many users. And so what headsets offer today on the market and these upcoming headsets, including Apple Vision Pro or Meta Quest 3 and so on and so forth, they have so many offerings, there's so many bells and whistles on these headsets that quite frankly Immerse doesn't need to function well as a productivity application. So the essence for us is let's strip it down. We don't need all those extra bells and whistles, and we can design a headset that is built for comfort and for long-term usage for the everyday person that just has a laptop. And so that's kind of the idea and the concept behind the Immerse Visors, that it's not a direct competitor, if you will, to the Apple Vision Pro or the Meta Quest. It's more of a subset, and we're geared towards more of a niche market that is the everyday user who has a laptop. So again, if you want all the bells and whistles that a traditional VR headset has to offer, if you want to play games or work out, this is not going to be the headset. But if you want to be more productive for longer periods of time and work in a virtual environment with a virtual community, then this will be the headset for you. So that's sort of the thought behind the advent of Visor.
Fantastic. And just to go back to that idea of using it as a productivity tool for, imagine, work from home, hybrid office workers, as well as just enterprise teams and scale potentially. Going from the digital laptop screen to the virtual immersive screen, could you talk about what that process will be like for end users, and also what behavioural considerations are you having to think about and tackle to deliver the product successfully?
Totally. It's a new concept. It's not as easy as just building another SaaS service type product, but in a lot of ways we're sort of trailblazing a path for a new operating system of how do you interact with your hands, how do you interact with your eyes. These headsets are coming out with eye tracking and hand tracking, and that's all part of the paradigm of putting on a headset and being able to work in a 3D environment. And so what we're trying to do basically on a daily basis is create a very easy onboarding process for users that have never put on a VR headset before. We need to create an intuitive process for them to be able to quickly put on a headset, connect it to their laptop, and be able to work immediately. It's a barrier for a lot of users who don't know how to work in VR to then try to learn how to work in VR and then to actually do their actual core job or be a student in VR. And so it's very much top of mind to create processes and onboarding, like tutorials, for example, in which we have that teach users how to get used to things. And one of the things I like to talk about within Immerse is sort of creating a system to reward users for time spent in VR. And the longer, basically how our point system works is the longer you're in VR, the more points you can accrue, the more things that you can purchase virtually, like an environment, to expand the horizons within Immerse. So that's sort of the idea as a concept. Does that sort of answer your question?
It does. And just within that, one last point is I want to know a bit more about some of those potential benefits for someone using this device as a work from home, not just in terms of increased productivity, but then also in terms of perhaps saving some money or perhaps other hidden elements that an end user may experience when using an Immerse headset.
Yeah, totally. So, you mentioned the work from home aspect. People, for example, I just recently relocated to New York City, and I'm not in the office every day, so I can throw on the headset, have my 5 virtual screens in front of me in a small New York City apartment. But also one aspect that I like to talk about when it comes to working in Immerse is the health and wellness side of things. We've had users report like they have a bad back or they have poor eye vision. Well, within Immerse, you can work while completely reclined on your bed or your couch and still have your 5 virtual screens in front of you. Or if you have bad eyesight, you can literally enlarge the screens and make them IMAX size, or you can shrink them down and put them right in front of you so that it's better for your eyes. So I like to joke, but I'm kind of serious that there's a health and wellness aspect to it as well. We've had one last example I'll give quickly is we've had people who tell us they struggle with ADD or ADHD, and by immersing them into a fully immersive world and taking over the sound as well, they're able to focus for longer periods of time by entering a deep state of work because they're not as distracted by the world around them. They can go into a log cabin in the mountains, or they can go into a space station sitting on the moon or whatever, and just kind of get lost in their work, if you will. And so it allows them to be productive for longer periods of time. And so for them, for the everyday worker, that's a benefit for them to get their job done.
And fantastic. I feel like those are almost hidden benefits. And do you feel like it's a fair point to say that those hidden benefits and those emerging benefits are going to help decision makers employ and adopt XR and then drive that scale and adoption rate?
Yeah, that's the hope. Another aspect we didn't even talk about is the portability of it. When people travel all the time, is like, hey, you can bring your full workstation with you and still be as productive as if you were still in the office or still in your home office, if you will. So those will be the main driving points that we hope to work with, these bigger enterprise clients for their adoption, so that, their employees can be more productive and they get more out of them in return. So
fantastic. Well, thanks so much for that. Yeah. Good luck in your journey. I'm Rory Green of XR Today. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.